Hello everyone, this is David with BBL Systems and Solutions, the creators of the most comprehensive and powerful point-of-sale program within the industry. In this video today, we're going to be talking about the Pickup Inventory Notification module. Using this module really is an easy way for you to see everything that has been received within your pickup inventory and allows you to slice and dice your data in a very meaningful way, in a very easy way that allows your staff to very quickly and effectively notify anybody that has any special orders that has arrived. It's also a great way for you to track late payments and manage cash flow. And there's a very specific way that I'm going to show you how to manage any late payments that you might be having, or any payments on dresses you're still chasing after, and do it in a very easy way. So stay tuned, I'll be going over that later on in the video. So first off, let's go ahead and get an overview of the module. I have it pulled up on the screen, and you can see there are really 1, 2, 3 main parts of the module, and then down here there's an email and SMS button. Hidden within this is also a report that you guys can pull of anything that you pull up within your criteria. So first off, you have your received criteria up here at the top. So this is, and you can see I have this defaulted to January through November, and I do this, and that's just basically pulls up anything that's within your pickup inventory that has been received during that time. And each one of these different criteria fields really narrow that down even further. So you can see there's a scheduled notification date. You can limit by the category: bridal, bridesmaids, social occasion, suits, so on and so forth, veils. And then you can also see you can also pull up everything that's been notified. When they get a specific notified date, you can see who it's been notified and filter by that. And then you can go and you can filter by the sales associate on the ticket. And over here, little buttons, limit means basically execute or limit to what this criteria is. And then the clear button actually clears all the information. The middle section is the section where all the data shows up, and each time that you can click on each one of these records, and then on the bottom you can see that there is different information that pulls up with each particular order. And then in the third section, we have all of these buttons. You can view pickup inventory on the record that you have highlighted, the actual pickup inventory record. You can view the ticket of that particular record. You can view the customer of that particular record. You can also view the event to get a little bit more information. This view customer is very effective, because this is a great way to quickly go and keep some and put customer notes in if you talk with somebody for a very specific reason. That's pretty noteworthy. So obviously there's customer data down here. Over here is the scheduled notification date. There's a notified by, and then there's a date notified. This is information that will be filled in later if you're doing this manually and going through and notifying people manually this way. And then in here, the email and SMS, you can see there's a report in here, and this report will pull up anything that is on that you have pulled up for your criteria. So for instance, you could do, I want to see everything that's been received this year, and I want to see anything that's within my pickup inventory that is a bridal gown. You put your category in there and you pull up the report, and it'll pull exactly that, and it'll give you all the items there. You can also go in here, you can look at under the email and SMS, and you can send out a custom SMS, a custom email, or you can also send out templates, and the templates that will show up are all the ones that are made that are associated with the pickup inventory in the section where you're able to make all of the templates. Now what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you how to pull up. First off, show you where this information comes from, because you're going to need to know that. So as I said before, this is basically the pickup inventory just housed, and it just kind of is sliced and diced in a little bit of a different way. So I have this record highlighted here. I'm going to go to the view the pickup inventory. I'm going to go to the actual record, and you can see over here on the right hand side of this particular record, I have, there's an invoice number, there's a date received. This should look familiar to everybody. Received by, scheduled notification, and then notified by, date notified. So these all of this criteria right here, from the date received all the way down to the date notified, this is all criteria that is used within the pickup inventory notification module. So this is where this all comes from, and anything that has changed, like say like the notified date, the notified by, the notified date, and scheduled notification, all of that goes back and forth, and it's all talks to the same table. So that this is where it comes from. So when you receive something, you receive it into inventory, it makes a record like this, and so on and so forth. So okay, so now let's head back to the pickup inventory notifications, and I'm going to show you how to use this in a very practical way. So as we have it pulled up right here, we have everything pulled up that's been received within the last year. You really want to treat the received as kind of like your base of everything that you're going to be pulling from. You want to decide when you want to, what you want to notify. You want to decide what your received criteria will be, and everything that you put in that received criteria out of these dates, then you're going to start pulling out different items. So for instance, and remember to treat this a little bit kind of like a sentence. So out of everything that was received, I want to see everything that's been scheduled, has been scheduled to be notified between this date and this date, and then also is only a bridal. It's a really great way to go. Think of everything as a sentence, and then at least for me, it helps make it a little bit more clear on how this works. So first, let me tell you about the scheduled notification, right? So every store is a little bit different in how they receive their inventory and how they notify it. A lot of stores will be just fine doing it, just pull up everything that's been received between X date and X date and go ahead and notify them, and that's enough for a lot of stores. There are some stores, maybe medium size to larger volume stores, that find that scheduled notification dates are a little bit more precise and make it a little bit easier for one person to drop off at this point and another person to pick up at another point. So here's what I mean by that. So a scheduled notification date we use as a way to monitor when brides should be notified. So you sell a gown and you quote a bride that it's going to be in within 3 to 6 months, and then you go to order it and you receive it in 3 weeks. Okay, so what do? Do you tell that bride you received the dress already, or do you wait another 2 months and do you tell that bride, hey, we got your dress in? There are so many factors that go into that, and every store has to make a decision that's best fits them. In my particular store, how we do that is we typically, depending on the bride and what the bride was expecting, most often we will go with that lower end that we quoted her at 3 to 6 months, or in some case 2 to 6 months, depending on the designer. And we'll go ahead and put that scheduled notification date in for that based on the date that it was ordered. So for instance, if it was ordered beginning of January, we'll go all the way to, we'll put the notification date out at like March 1st or something of that nature. So what we found is it's just less arguing, and the brides are much happier, and it just the whole can of worms just kind of stays contained. So what you can do with the scheduled notification date for this instance, so that you can see, is so every day every Tuesday, that is, in my store, the way that we handle this is we have our sales associates sit down at the computer and they answer phones, and any inbound phone calls, appointments, or general customer service questions. When the phone's not ringing, they are instructed to do the pickup inventory notifications. And what they do is they go and they say, okay, so let's say today is November 15th, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to do all the pickup notifications for November 15th. And they do November 15th, and then they hit limit, and then it pulls up everything that is supposed to be notified for that particular day. And then they go right through. They make the phone call. They put in down here, they put down in their sales associate initials. They put in the date that they notified them. If you right click, it puts in today's date, and today's the 9th, but let's just say it's the 15th, and then you click save, and then this automatically updates that screen that we looked at before. It automatically updates that with the date notified and then who notified them. Okay, and so once those items are notified, then it falls into a different criteria. So then you can go and you can look and pull information by the date that was notified. So And typically when you want to pull the date, a report by the date that's notified, you just kind of want to go, like, it's usually to just kind of double check things, double check how many had gone out or whatever. Usually you don't. Another reason why you might want to use it too is also to check to see, like, hey, I'm going to pull up a report of all the people that have been notified within the last 30 days, and I want to see who is still outstanding with balances. What I like to do when I'm trying to find late payments is I like to cast my net fairly large or fairly wide just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And so I have a tendency, I like to go back way back in the year and make sure that just there isn't any straggler that's coming up. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of this year for the date notified, 2020, and then I'm going to go up to 30 days ago to find out who is 30 days late. So in other words, the last time that something was notified, I'm going to pull up what has been notified 30 days ago, 10/09/2020. And then now you got to make sure that your schedule notification matches. If you're using schedule notification, you got to make sure that this matches. And then so we're going to go 01/01/2020, and then we're going to go up to 10/9/2020, and then I'm going to hit limit. And then the first thing that I'm going to be looking for is to make sure that, well, if this makes sense, if I got nothing that popped up, I just want to double check and make sure I have my criteria entered in correctly. And then the next thing I'm looking for is the item balance, and I want to see if there's anything that's late. Anything that's outstanding, because now we keep things and we store things for brides, their bridal gowns, and then bridesmaid dresses, they have 30 days to get them out. And so I'm just kind of scrolling down here, item balance, and let's see if there is anything. And it looks like we got soap. I just passed it. I'm gonna go back up, and it looks like we got a couple here. So here's one. Looks like actually there's a bigger balance that I think escaped me. Let's see if I can find. Oh, there it goes again. We're back down, and so we're gonna click on here, and we can see down here the schedule notification was 5/29/2020. She was notified on 6/4/2020. She's way past due. Now in instances like this, we do have a good amount of note taking going on, and you can see that there's an asterisk here. And the way that if you've seen out of the other videos, asterisks mean that there's some sort of issue going on with this particular customer. Just as kind of a forewarning, hey, look out. And that's the middle initial, by the way, that we use to do that. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you, this is how I track and keep everything in one spot. So I'm going to change the scheduled notification date. Now this is past. We don't really need to know. The scheduled notification is just internal. That doesn't matter. I don't want to change the date notified. Because I want to keep that for legal purposes in case this has to get down to collections. So the scheduled notification date is going to be 01/01/1702, and I'm going to explain this a little bit more in a second. I'm going to hit save, okay, and then I'm going to go down here, and there was another one that I want to see. Double check this one. Okay, bear with me, we're almost there. There we go. Here we go. And this is a maid's dress. She was scheduled to be notified at 9/25/2020. The date she was notified was 9/27/2020. So obviously she is past due as well. So I'm going to change this one as well to 01/01/1702. I know this date is very confusing, but it'll make, I promise it's going to make sense in just a moment. So I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to scroll down. See if there's anybody else that's late. And it doesn't look like, it looks like only those two that were showing up with this search. Another thing that you can do too is just make sure that this is a good way to keep on top of things that need to be picked up as well if you're running out of space, depending on what your storage policy is. Great way to do that as well. And it looks like there's nothing else under this search. Now, this 01/01/1702, this is basically code for anything that's been late this year in 2020. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can do this. You can maybe I should change this in the future to 01/01/1720 to kind of match the last two parts of the year. But at any rate, what this means, and anytime I pull this up, I'm able to see what has been and is late for this year and track my progress. So I hit limit, and now you see quite a bit more that has been late and we're trying to chase after for payments. So you can see this very first record here. This very first record was scheduled to be notified. Obviously it's late because I changed that. This is way back. She's notified way back in February. We're still chasing after that, and usually we give it a year before we write it off. We try to chase after them, and then after that we just we call it quits. We kind of go down that route, and you can see that there are a decent amount. Now we do a lot of maids, and we do a lot of bridal. Most of these are maids, as you can see. There's a $0 one. It means that we were tracking her and we were chasing after her for payment. And of course, this year of all years, we've had to be a lot more understanding and work a lot of different things out with different brides. Our philosophy is, as long as we get paid, and as long as there's intent, we're going to work with them. So here's another bigger balance, we got to watch out for and just kind of keep track of. And that's it. That's about it. This is actually, quite honestly, quite remarkable for this particular year in 2020. Remarkable percentage. What I can tell you is that since I've been switching to this format, it's been a lot easier to manage. It's been a lot easier to chase after late payments, particularly because what we can do is, phone calls don't always elicit the best response. Voicemails usually get ignored. So for this particular person, I'll go in, I'll highlight the record, and then I'll click on here, click on this email SMS, and then I'll go up to the email, and I'll send an email template that is very specific to collecting a balance on items. And it's a very diplomatic, a very congenial, collaborative letter that says, hey, we're both working at this. We know you're coming upon hard times, planning a wedding, and then, we play the heartstring of the sales associate, and we're working hard in good faith, and so on and so forth. And that's the route we take. And usually it's fairly successful. This year's a little bit of a different story, but at any rate, it does work. But now you can see that as time goes on and as people pay, they will turn to zero balances, and you will be able to see and track your progress. You can also pull up a report by going here. You've got your criteria in here, like we talked about before. Hit report, and then it's going to pull up a report of all the balances and whatnot, and give you a little bit more of a detailed view of everything. So so that is how you track late payments. It's a great way to track your a great way to help with cash flow. Overall, this really sums up the pickup inventory notifications module. What I can tell you is that since we've been using this in our store, we've been using it now for the better part of about 4 years, and it has really greatly improved our ability to really track our inventory a lot better, keep it more accurate. And it also has improved our cash flow and drastically reduced the amount of late payments and write-offs that we've had to have every year. So as always, if you have any questions about this particular module or anything related to this, don't hesitate to send us an email to support@bblsystems.com. You can also leave a comment or a question in the comments below. If you're viewing this on YouTube or if you're viewing this on Facebook, we'll do our best to get back to you ASAP. Thank you so much. Have a great day.